Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the DLLS Stars post-game show. We are live here from our parts unknown. We have Sean Shapiro, Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler. I'm Owen Newkirk, and of course, our producer tonight is Ryan Vaughters, as usual, although we will have a fill-in, I believe, sometime in the next couple weeks. Well, that's neither here nor there. Stars lose tonight by a final score of 3-1 to the Anaheim Ducks. Their modest 3-game point streak comes to an end. I think perhaps most notably, the Anaheim Ducks snapped a 9-game winless streak. They were 0-8-1. They hadn't won a game since December 20th against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and now they've won a game in 2026. Let's start with the obvious. It looks like the Stars were lacking their legs tonight, especially early on. They were jumped on by a team that was a little more rested, albeit both teams missing some really key figures. We were a little surprised during our pregame show with, first and foremost, we found out that Miro Heiskanen would not play tonight due to a personal family matter. And then that was compounded by the fact that the Ducks came out for warm-up without Leo Carlsson, Cutter Gauthier, and Troy Terry, all of whom took the morning skate today for the Ducks. Stars, of course, didn't skate because they played last night against the LA Kings. Aside from the fact that they played yesterday, let's start with Luds. How badly do you think they missed Miro Heiskanen tonight?
Oh, I think they miss Miro, as I always say. Miro's the kind of guy that when he gets the puck in his own zone, he breaks down coverage by using his legs. And he beats the first guy, and then because he does that, somebody else comes to him, and then he knows when to distribute it to somebody else that generally starts to flow moving through the neutral zone or just before he gets to the offensive blue line. So there's no question that they miss him. And then not only that, then you got to ride a couple other guys that probably aren't used to getting in the same situations around the net and things like that. But I just felt like I know there were pockets for Dallas, but to me, the Ducks were the hungrier team the whole game.
What about you guys? We'll go Sean first, then Sam. Your initial reactions to this game tonight?
Yeah, the missing Miro was amplified by you had a third pair, or whatever you want to call the Lyubushkin Bianco pair that really struggled. Like it was one of those where it became. I think that to me that was my biggest takeaway. Where it went from not only were you missing your best defenseman, your best player, to when with an opportunity to step up in a back-to-back when you need everyone to do it, everyone else got stretched thinner because of how much your other pairing struggled. And obviously Anaheim took advantage of that. I think they scored 2 of their goals against that pairing, despite that pairing only be on the ice for 11 and a half minutes. I think that to me was my big takeaway, where it's depth and everyone else gets stretched out further on the back end, even more so because of other guys not stepping up into an opportunity and just picking a really bad night to have a bad night too. And I think that kind of amplified things there on top of Miro being unavailable for the game.
Sam?
Yeah, pretty simple. Lost every race to the puck, right? That was kind of the story. They were the second quickest team to lose pucks. They were, second to get around their own net. The second goal was a good example of, second goal was a good example of just not being hungry enough on your stick in those areas. They just lacked that last bit a little bit. And if you look at, all the analytics or graphs of this game, not a whole lot for Dallas going on in general. And the problem was no sustained pressure. Early on, they had a few chances to score and actually take the lead, but it was all off the rush. It was all quick chances. It was not anything sustained, no cycle game. And they just didn't really wear down on Anaheim and force them to make mistakes. And that's kind of the result of the game. Was Anaheim got to get up, go the other way. And actually, while Anaheim is a big rush team, they actually were the ones who had the sustained offensive zone pressure more so.
I'm thinking about my comment I made to you guys last night. Now, Sean, you weren't on the show last night, but I told them that I thought Thomas Harley looked really good last night in the offensive side of his game. Sam immediately bashed on Harley, and then he went off the top ropes on Ilya Lyubushkin. I'm sure he's going to do that more tonight. But I thought Harley had more jump in his game last night. I saw some offensive skating where he's moving his feet and doing the kind of things that makes us remember how he is a real impact player from the blue line. I didn't see that tonight from him. And I'm not trying to specifically point out that, I don't look at this game and say, well, Thomas Harley wasn't the one that cost them this game. I was just hoping that maybe Harley might step into the massive void left by Miro Heiskanen and kind of help keep things afloat. And, look, they were better in the second. They were getting caved in the first, and Casey was great. And then in the third, it was a one-shot game for a while, but they just didn't quite seem like they had it, and Harley was part of that. Any of the three?
It's an interesting thing that one of the things we're learning about Thomas Harley. I think he is a world-class defenseman, and I think there are, and obviously he hasn't been playing that way this year, but we've seen it in the past before, and I want to be clear on what we've seen in the past. I think we're learning a lot about a guy who, what was it, 28 minutes tonight for him? And Luds, you played with some elite defensemen, right? There's some guys who can play their game at 22, 23 minutes. There's another level that requires, and I know it's easy to say, oh, it's just 3 more minutes, just pouring 3 more minutes on a guy or whatever. And I don't know. It's just, for me, I look at what's happened with Thomas Harley when it comes to expectation and pressure or whatever you want to say about it. And I'd have to go through and look at his game log for time on ice. But I would imagine if he's getting over 22, 23 minutes a game, he starts to falter quite a bit. And there's some guys who can handle those minutes. And I'd love to throw it to Luds on this because we learn a lot about guys. There's some defensemen, there's some players in general where you're like, you know what? That guy's great. And for some, we often talk about the guys who are like that middle of the pack of like, oh, can they go from an 18, 19 minute a night defenseman to a 21, 22 minute a night? There's another level of some guys can do it for, like Miro can play his game for 27 minutes a night. We're learning a lot about Thomas Harley where maybe Thomas's game, he can't, and that's something maybe he can adjust, and all of a sudden that's a great thing. Or maybe that's just a reality from Star's perspective of this guy can't play his game if he's being clocked for more than 24 minutes a night. I don't know. I'd love to throw it to Luds on that. So,
what you guys have heard me describe what I think between Harley and Heiskanen, the way that they come up the ice. I just mentioned earlier, I believe that Miro's the kind of guy, he gets the puck and he can skate and break down coverage. I've always felt that Thomas was really good at making the first outlet pass. And I'm talking between the faceoff dot in his end and the top of the circle. And then he follows up the play. And then when he gets on top of the offensive blue line and he gets going in the offensive zone with the 10 and 2 and the nice passes and getting shots through, I think he's a really, really good defenseman. I just wonder, if the Four Nations, the Olympic thing, the contract, and now all of a sudden he's a 200-foot player with the puck. And because I see him turning pucks over from the top of the circle in his own zone to his blue line that come back the other way. And then I see him turn pucks over in the neutral zone when he wants to skate it a little bit further instead of little outlet passes. I mean, that's what stands out in my head when we're talking about it. The minutes played and stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. I'd have to go back and kind of do the whole same old thing and see if he does wear down. But I'll tell you what, the first thing I think of, and he's been up 25, 26 at times in that neighborhood. But I seem to recall that when we get late in games and you need a goal in the offense and things like that, he can be buzzing around. I mean, for the last 2-3 minutes of the game, he gets in the offensive zone. He's doing the 10 and 2 and he's around, he's making all those kind of passes. So I think he's got the gas in his tank, but I just wonder if he's trying to live up to all those other things and be a top 10 defenseman in the league, where I think he is a top defenseman in the league when he kind of dumbs it down a little bit. And that's not the right way to put it, but I just think he's such a good passer. And now And I think that the guys that are playing with him have known him to be that first pass kind of guy. And they play different when Miro has the puck. When Miro has the puck, we got to buy our ice a little bit because he's going to probably go east and then he's going to go west. And then before you know it, he's going to smack it on our stick. With Harley, you got to get ready. Because I feel like you had to get ready because he's going to make a good outlet pass. And I wonder if some of those other things are kind of adding up to where I got it. I'm making this much money now and I'm getting all these accolades and I'm going here, going there. I need to do more. And I don't know. I don't know what kind of conversations they have with Thomas, defenseman, Elaine, and guys like that.
I know we want to spend a fair amount of time talking about the way that they didn't look like they could keep up with the Ducks, whether it was energy, whether it was speed, whether it was passing the puck and breaking it out of the zone. One thing I wanted to bring up is the team. It's weird. I know they played yesterday, and I know it wasn't an easy game against the Kings. The Kings play a heavy, grinding, exhausting style game. I just don't think the Stars look very deep tonight in their attack. Okay. And here's where I'm going to go with this. Tyler Seguin getting hurt was an opportunity for Maverick Bourque to move up a line. And by doing that, he actually plays and has shown that he has it within him at the NHL level to do it. Now, he still doesn't do it as consistently as we want, but if you said, hey, we're going to trot out a line of Robertson, Hintz, and Bourque, you're going to go, yeah, that's not their problem on most nights. Then you have Steele, Rantanen, obviously Wyatt Johnson in the middle of that one. For the most part, we're happy with it. Sam Steele's been a very, very good player for them. He's not been the first line left wing or even the top 6 left wing you really want, but he's not the problem on this Dallas Stars team. Maybe where he is more of the problem, but it's not Sam Steele's game that's the issue. Then you see Matt Duchene, and we've talked a lot about it. I didn't cut the clip for the pregame show, but Gully talked about both Duchene and Ben trying to get up into their game, missing. Jamie missed a ton of time with the collapsed lung in preseason to start the year. And then Duchene got hurt with a concussion and was dealing with the headaches for a while. And so he's like third period tonight when he got moved up, Duchene looked like one of the more energetic offensive guys, as if he had his batteries changed and fresh ones were put in. And Luds talked about this last night. Sometimes you just need to play with a certain caliber of player, and maybe Matt Duchene feeds off that kind of energy. But that's my problem, because then you have a third line that was Oscar Beck centering Ritzkovian and Blackwell. And I like all of those guys for the roles that they can play. But that feels like a fourth line, not a third line. And suddenly Dallas looks like they're 2 lines deep at best, where a month ago they hung 8 against this Ducks team. So I've seen, we know, and Jim Nill has made multiple interviews of that he expects to hold tight until after the Olympic break. It feels like this team needs something offensively, which is funny to say for a team that is pretty good offensively all season long.
Well, as we lost Sam here, it's I was looking it up as
Sam.
The tonight
he's in the upside down.
Yeah, the Ben Duchene Ritzkovian line tonight played .452 together on the ice. I don't know what your chances were, Owen, but I was just looking up at Natural Stat Trick as we were going to this. They got out scoring chances for and against when that line was on the ice in 5 minutes was 7-0 for the Ducks.
That would take me a while to add up because I don't do it by line.
Using the Natural Stat Trick stuff on that. So you look at just the data.
I didn't think Jamie looked particularly effective tonight. I know he took the visor off, and we made a big deal about him probably doing that. I just wonder, because you missed the pregame show when we talked about it, Sean.
Yeah.
Luds brought up when you are coming back from a broken nose, you have to be careful, and you can't play careful. I don't know if Jamie has his full complement of physicality and standing up for his teammates. I'm not sure he necessarily would have done that tonight, but he can't take a punch to the face right now.
Well, it also would have been this is an interesting conversation, and this is one of those where it's Jamie is your captain, and he's this leader that the Stars will follow.
I know where you're going with this.
But should he have played tonight? Just very honestly, coming back, when you're talking about a guy who's coming back in a second game of a back-to-back, and I thought his game last night was probably as good as it could have been in the LA game for the first game and back. But obviously, you're talking about the working your way back in and everything like that. And I know Jamie, of course, would never take himself out of the lineup, but was this the type of game where just from a lineup management perspective that should he have even been in the lineup tonight? Was it the right decision? And it's easy to sit here and second guess after a game. I'm well aware of that. It's easy yeah. So like,
I want you to respond before the ad break. I know we're a little late, but I'd like you to respond while it's fresh in mind.
Jamie's not taking himself out of the lineup,
Correct.
in my opinion. Neither is Gully.
Yeah,
I truly believe that. I think if Gully goes in, and I think he's going to be a little bit more diplomatic with Jamie and say, "Hey, Benner, how you doing? You know, you had a game, you had broken nose, and you're feeling good, and you want to take the night off," because he's going to ease his way in it. He's not one of these old school coaches that's going to come in and say, "Listen, I think what's best for you and what's best for the team is you take tonight off." It ain't happening that way. And I get it. I mean, I wouldn't take the night off unless, you know, the same situation. Jamie wants to be that guy. But yeah, you're all right about it. But again, the whole team to me was down here. And again, that's expected. They played the night before, and it was a trudgy game last night, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And this was a team that probably got you know, a good talking to from their head coach, and you know, they were going to do what they had to do to get out of this little mini slump. And if you're going to beat a team like Dallas, who knows where that's going to catapult them to.
All right, guys, let's continue this after the ad break. Stars lose to the Ducks here on the DLS Stars postgame show. The DLS Stars postgame show is brought to you, as we like to say, by our friends at Wild Fork Food Meat and Seafood Market. Now, one of the things I talk about a lot at Wild Fork is how it's not just for meat and seafood, even though that's right in the title, because they also have incredible side dishes, breads. I know John Radigan from our Rangers show just loves their breadsticks. They've got several different varieties as well, but they also have desserts. Key lime pie. They have a burnt cheesecake, I believe is what they call it, something out of Spain. I'd have to learn that one again because that key lime pie looks phenomenal. I know Luds really loves it, but they also have meats and seafoods. Everything is blast frozen. It maintains freshness, which means it's actually better and easier to prepare and cook when you're ready for it. Plus, guess what? Frozen is fresher at Wild Fork Meats and Seafood Market. They have 9 area DFW locations, and you've got to check them out. Learn more at wildforkfoods.com. The DLS Stars postgame show is also brought to you by Prize Picks. And you've heard me talk about Prize Picks a fair amount, and it's a lot of fun to do. And if you're right, you can get paid because of it. And it's not that difficult. Well, at least it's not that difficult to set up, because all you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. And if you're right, you can cash in. Now, the trickier part is you've got to be right. But there's no funny business. It's really simple. They will give you the options. You'll be able to select more or less, whether it's NFL football, NBA basketball, soccer, especially over in EPL, MLS, that kind of thing. And of course, the National Hockey League. And once you do that, you can cash in, and it takes less than 60 seconds, and you can show everybody how right you are. Plus, they offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, quick and easy deposits in and out. If you download the Prize Picks app today, use the code DLLS. They will also give you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right. We are still waiting for Sam to fight through technology. Who would have thought that Luds would be the on top of tech guy tonight? Luds, did you figure out your TV situation that you were struggling with in pregame?
I've been playing with it. I'm getting closer. I got TNT on. I got my YouTube TV thing in here now, so I'm good to go. I got a couple more things to figure out, but I don't use this that much anyway.
Sean, you missed it. Luds had a TV malfunction and had to get a new one today, and so he's trying to set it up, which always is an adventure.
Mm-hmm. Always fun. Always fun.
All right, let's start going through this one. And then if you guys want to go back to any of the main talking points and debate stuff, we certainly can. We've got lots of time here. First period, Maverick Bourque had a great look right off the opening draw. Well, not immediately, but the first chance, he took a shot. It took a deflection off a stick and hit the crossbar. And that was about as good as it got for the Stars until Jason Robertson had that solo rush from the left circle and then his own rebound wraparound with 2 really good chances there. Those were the 3. The rest was dominated by the Anaheim Ducks. And I have not watched all 9 games. Hi, Sam. He's back. I have not watched all 9 of their losses in a row. They had gone 0-8-1. I did catch their game against the Washington Capitals, the first game of their 4-game road trip that they just came off of. And the Caps won that one. I believe it was 7-5. But that third period, and I know our producer Ryan was working that game for the Anaheim Ducks Victory Plus broadcast. I thought the Ducks, even though they were behind, were coming back. They looked fresher. They had energy. They didn't quit. And then a couple of, like, Peter Mrazek was awful in that game. And that helped the Caps win a game. And let's face it, the Capitals haven't been playing very well either. I can't imagine that every single night of the 9 straight games that the Ducks have lost, they've looked awful, but they looked like they had something to prove tonight. And that first period, they showed it.
Well, I went through and, I mean, once again, I didn't watch every single minute of all 9 games like you, but I went through and I was kind of curious because this was this was the first game back at home for Anaheim after they lost 5-3 in Buffalo. They did not look good against Carolina. You mentioned that Washington game. So I went back and kind of looked at what that road trip was, and it was a pretty embarrassing road trip. Just to use that sample size of the kind of some video I went and watched, and maybe it's I don't know. It's you get back home. If you were ever gonna show up, or if it was put up or show up, I mean, shut up or put up time for Anaheim after that when you get home, like this was exactly that, right? Like you were so bad on the road. You get home for a couple days. You finally do that. This was, from a Ducks perspective, if you don't win this game, for lack of a better word, this is probably just your white flag moment, right? Like if you lose this game, and I know the Stars are a very good team. Let's be clear about that, right? But if you lose this game after having 3 or 4 days between games, first game back with all of that prep time and everything, if you have what happened on the road, isn't this the moment where Lud's buddy Pat Verbeek just says, okay, you know what? This team doesn't have it. We're selling, right? Because like this to me was a game for this Ducks team to prove to their GM that, you know what? This group should be even allowed to have a chance in this Western Conference. Like that's just, I know the Stars are a good team, but let's just be really clear.
I mean,
what's happening.
To Sean's point, I said this in the pregame. Yeah. They were in first place in their division on December 9th. And then they started losing on December 11th, and they plummeted to 3 points out of the playoffs, meaning the second wild card was 3 points higher than their standings coming into tonight's game.
What was the margin of their last game? Stars, Ducks, 8-2. What was the score?
8-3 was the final score, and that was the middle of December, the 19th.
Okay. They've got some veteran guys on that team, and Killorn, Kreider now, Gudis, Trouba, that remember those kind of things. And that may have had a little bit to do with it. And, you know, they got some younger players there but when you get embarrassed like that, you know, you remember that the next time. And the last time, I think this is the last time they play these guys this year.
Yep. Season series finale.
So I would have hoped if you're an Anaheim fan, I would have hoped that would have come up, you know, in team meetings, whether it was this morning or tonight before the game. So that, again, they were the more rested team. They were just a better team. I mean, I just felt like there were numbers all over the place for those. There were, I mean, and them orange jerseys look very cool for me. I like that. But man, when you're watching it on TV, it sure looks like there may only be 2 or 3 guys around a couple guys, but it looks like there's 7 or 8. It just looks like they're big and they're taking up a lot of space out there. And I got to be honest with you, I love the way that they play, where there's 5 guys moving together. You know, in their zone, there's 5 guys here. There's 5 guys here. Offensive zone, they got 3 guys, and they got 1 guy high. And so the details of their game tonight did not look like the team that was. What'd you say they were 0-2, 11-2, or something like that?
Yep.
That didn't look like a 2-11-2 squad to me tonight.
Sam, what'd you think about Casey DeSmith's game, particularly in the first period, where he stopped grade A's from Mikael Granlund after he walked Thomas Harley, Mason McTavish, Alex Killorn, Ryan Poehling, and then I think the best one of the first period was the stretch out right pad save he made on Ryan Strome.
Yeah, he was ahead of it. That's how I would describe his game tonight. He was reading those plays really well. Anaheim was not just creating chances, as you just mentioned. They were side to side, lateral, tough plays, or like quick jam plays that he had to get down for. That one from Lacombe was a great pass that he's probably already setting up for a shot from Lacombe. He gets it over there. He just was reading it really well. And I think as much as it's, you want to say the backup goalie did a good job tonight, Casey has been this way all year. Other than his, I think 2 rough kind of starts, his first one, and then there was another one mixed in there. He's been on it every night, reading the play, on top of it. And I think that he deserved better, but it just felt like it was coming, if that makes sense too, where it was too much reliant on Casey. It was too much. It was another save. Oh, they couldn't get it out. Another wraparound, another low save. And he just kept making the saves, losing his stick behind the net twice, scrambling all over. He gets help from Capobianco on that play behind him. He was in scramble mode a little too much, but when he was in that mode, he was also reading it and ahead of it. So I thought he was great again.
And I want to put this in context though. In the second period, the Ducks tried to give the game away a little bit. They took back-to-back penalties. The Stars didn't do enough with the power play. And then as the period went along, even though Anaheim had the lead, and we'll talk about that goal in a moment, the Stars had a power play late in the period where they had the puck a ton. They generated, I believe I tracked 5 scoring chances on the one at the end of the frame, 7 in the second period altogether. They didn't end up showing for it. Look, I know we have criticized this team many times for over-reliance on their special teams and goaltending, especially their power play. But guess what? In the same stretch where the Ducks gave up the most 5-on-5 goals against, that 2-11-2 stretch, they gave up 51 5-on-5 goals. The Stars were in much better shape, and I think they were 3rd in the league in even strength scoring during that span. So this is not as an anemic offense as it feels like. And after watching it tonight, you needed your power play when you're tired and your goalie's standing on his head to step up, and they just didn't do it tonight.
I think they created some good chances, but again, what you're seeing is the opponents when they're killing penalties, they're not showing them the respect that they did early on. There's a lot more pressure going on with what they're seeing now, and they're going to have to adjust to that, because again, they've all watched how teams play. They watched power play, special teams, all that kind of stuff. And when you let this team, the Stars, move the puck around, they can pick you apart. And we've seen teams now have said, we're not. I mean, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down pressure.
And Les, you've said that before. So what is the Stars power play? Let's start with power play 1 because they've been the big dogs here. What do they have to do differently then?
How many guys on that power play like to have the puck for more than a second or two? Rantanen's one. Yep. Robo's another one. I don't think Miro is that kind of guy. He distributed it pretty quick. But those are your 2 guys, right? Because you've got a defenseman and you've got those 2 guys and you have Wyatt, who's a shooter. So Rantanen and Robo now have to move the puck past that pressure. And Rance does a really good job of, turning his back and holding guys off. But all that does is it buys time for the other 3 penalty killers to get to where they want to go. So to me, what beats pressure is quick puck movement. And they had chances tonight. Again, who's supposed to be your best penalty killer? Dostal. He was good.
He was excellent. Yeah. All right, let's hit the ad break now because when we come back, we'll talk about the goals. We'll break that down and get to your super chats. I know we've got some angry folks tonight right here on the DLLS Stars postgame show. The DLLS Stars postgame show is brought to you by Game Time. Look, you know very well that we are all big hockey fans because we either played like Luds, watched and played much lower level like Sam and me or anybody else watching, right? But you need to be there in person. You need Game Time. Game Time has 100% authentic tickets on time. They deliver right to you easy at the best price. And of course, fees are always included. So check out our show, pre and post games on every Stars game night. And in between, get those tickets to see the Stars play or Check out the other venues around the NHL. Follow the Stars. Go to some other games. Hockey is great no matter what. Plus, you always get to see views from where the seats are, so you know what you're getting. No confusion whatsoever. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. So I simply download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Like, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code DLLS for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. The post-game show here at DLS Stars is also brought to you by Qualis Roofing. Homeowners and business owners alike consistently praise Qualis Roofing for their honesty, follow-through, and quality workmanship. One of the most trusted names in roofing across North Texas and also Austin. So whether it's your home or your business, Qualis Roofing has you covered. Literally, they specialize in both residential and commercial roofing projects. And don't you know that they're going to give stuff away? If you get a free roof inspection from them, they will give you a free DLS t-shirt. If you get your roof replaced with Qualis, you can choose between a free Blackstone grill or a Traeger smoker. Now, Ludds always laughs because he says if you get a new roof, it should come with a little extra sizzle. I don't know why he thinks that's so funny. It's kind of funny. Call or go online to schedule your free roof inspection. And don't forget to ask about your free grill. Visit QualisGC.com or just search Qualis Roofing and Construction. That's QUALIS, or call 817-500-9008 and get started today. All right, guys, let's get to the first goal. We'll start, Ludds, with the Chris Kreider 4-on-4, but kind of 5-on-4 because it was a delayed penalty as he puts one off the post and in to make it 1-0 in the early part of the second period.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about how poor Stars players don't spot him coming off the bench. You've got all eyes on the puck carrier, and Kreider just finds that hole in the middle of the ice when he comes off the bench. And I just didn't think that the awareness was there. But I do want to ask Sean, I'm wondering if any of you guys caught after the goal went in. Sean, did you catch Casey kind of turning and looking at the pair of defensemen that were in front of him? I felt like he was giving someone the stink eye. And
this is the Jake treatment?
Yeah, well, here's what I think. Right there. Pause this.
Yeah.
For me, it's Harley. And you cannot, or you shouldn't. Why? You're not in a lane. I get it. Who's that? Who's Harley killing with? I can't even tell who that is.
Looks like Capobianco.
Capo.
I thought. Well, yeah, because it was 4-on-4. That's right. So Coco's a little bit closer. I can understand him reaching and trying to get his stick in there. Harley's not going to do anything but possibly deflect this puck with his stick when he waves it at him. And at the end of this, when the puck goes in right there, you can see what Harley's doing. See how he's got his stick out like he's going to knock it down or something like that? That ain't happening. But what I'm saying is, after this goal goes in, you watch Casey turn around and he looks back to his left. And I believe we got one more shot, Ryan, or is that the last one? But right after this here, he turns and he looks back to his left. And I believe he was looking at Thomas because he's just waving his stick. Because, Sean, you tell me, if you see that, doesn't it enter your mind like, oh, shit, now he's going to tip the puck too? Like, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah. There's only so much decorum you can apply in the moment, right? Like there's a what the F moment there that you can try as you might to be as kind as possible to your teammate and everything like that. But there is, I think Casey's reaction kind of summed it up perfectly there of not really sure what the guys in front of him are doing. And it's also one of those moments too, from a goaltending perspective of, I've talked to lots of guys and everyone will be, it's the right media answer is always, oh, the guys in front of me did the right thing. They made my life easier. They did this, that, and the other. But there's also a lot of times within the position where you're like, dude, look what I've done for you so far. And then this is how you kind of repay me with some of your decision in front of me. And normally they never say that publicly. They find the time to get to kind of smooth it over by the time they get to the media scrums. But the body language and that first glance is really telling, and you're spot on there, Les, with that.
I just think, you know, if you're the defenseman and
Yeah.
you're, I don't want to say that you're a shot blocker, but you do what you got to do. There's going to be a certain percentage of goals that are just going to hit you and they're going to go in.
Yes.
It's life of being a defenseman trying to do that kind of stuff. I think I always had a good relationship with Eddie and Patrick, those two in particular. In that scenario right there, I know that those two guys wouldn't get upset with me if I just lay down. I'll just take the ice because odds are it's not going to deflect in a way that it hits a stick where it goes this much. Where if it's going to hit me, it's going to stick, and if it doesn't, it's probably going above me. They knew that. And Eddie would tell me even all the time on faceoffs, and I hated it because when Iafrate, Al McInnes are out there teeing him up, and Eddie come out to me on the face, he goes, "Let's you take the bottom, I'll take the top." I turn around and go, "Oh, wait a second, that's Al. That's big Al. Like he can shoot the puck." So, but I mean but I think that Eddie played especially that he didn't have to go down. He knew I'd have the bottom of the ice, and it was the same way with Matty. Not Hatch as much, but Matty. So anyway, I just wanted to get your feeling on that. That was about.
And on top of that, like it's the spot where, from a goaltending perspective, if you got guys who are going to block shots and they're in front of you, you want them all in or all out. That's like it's the mushy middle, like on this play here, that is just creates so many problems. Either commit to blocking the shot fully and going all into it, or just go the other way. And you know what? You're going to give the shot. You're going to give your goalie's eyes all of it, and you're going to basically be more of a box, and you're going to commit to the box out right away. It's not like that middle area, that middle ground is where you die, and that's where you get killed, and that's what happened on this play.
Yeah, and it's the Ole. It's the Ole. Yeah, like you're the bullfighter.
Yeah.
You get the Ole, and no bueno.
Luds, let me ask you, because that goes right with what I've been saying this whole time about this stretch, where they're always in that. That's a perfect word Sean uses, the mushy middle, right? They're stuck in between. And I know I texted you guys about Lyubushkin being stuck in between. Harley's stuck in between. But it's just the common theme of this team lately has been stuck in between. And I'm curious, Luds, is that, I know you mentioned confidence a few games ago when we were talking about that. What's the reason for all of that indecision? Is it a confidence thing? Is it they're just not reading the play quick enough, so they're not sure which way to go? What do you see from them that's causing that? Because it's not just one or two plays. I see it all over the ice.
Unfortunately, I think they're thinking instead of reacting, and I think that's been the theme kind of from the beginning of the year, because of the coverage was going to be changed and stuff. We saw that where they were kind of getting stuck and they were a little bit late because they were thinking. And I always go back to, the Hitchcock thing. I mean, we did the same 3 drills every single day. I mean, every day. And that Hitch, I'll tell you what, every time he seemed to go up to the board with that hand of his, and he was writing it crooked with his left hand, and he's talking and saying stuff, and we're like, what's he doing? Then we go, oh, we're doing that drill. And that's why I said, Hitch, just give it a name. You don't even have to go to the board, because we do it every single day, and we actually get more confused when you're describing the drill that we do every day, because you got this little twist or you want to add something to it. So, but I guess the long-winded answer is that you do your systems every single day, and then I know exactly, Carbo knows where I'm going, Matty knows where I'm going, and when that guy goes, this guy comes here, and it's automatic. So I don't know if they're at that point yet, and that's 5-on-5 and penalty kill. I mean, it's everything. I just think it's more. I think that there has to be structure in that D zone, and the other 2 areas of the ice, freelance, do whatever the hell you want. But when you're in your end, you have to know where each other's supposed to be.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the no goal for goalie interference. Ryan Poehling to Alex Killorn. Late in the second period, the Stars were buzzing on that power play, couldn't score, shorthanded chance, and they immediately waved it off. Any controversy here at all, or is this an obvious one to you guys?
Obvious for me.
Yeah, I thought it was the right call.
Yeah, at first when I saw it, I thought Harley, I thought Paling was going to his right, and that was going to be the tough part, was Harley redirected him. But as soon as I saw the replay, Paling was completely out of control and puts himself there. There's a little contact, but unfortunate for the Stars. Unfortunate because it's a beautiful pass on the spinning backhand. Looked a lot like Corey Perry last night, but no controversy on that one.
Honestly, I was a little surprised with the TNT broadcast crew. They were maybe just trying to sound a little bit more down the middle by saying, well, I don't know that, like, guys, it was pretty clear. He crashed into DeSmith. He couldn't do it, make the save. He couldn't do his job. He couldn't play the position, which is the definition. I thought it was really easy. I know that he didn't run Casey, but is there a penalty there that they didn't call?
No.
Or is that just the incidental contact?
Yeah.
That's part of driving the net.
Yeah.
But again, I think a better answer from a goaltender,
Yeah. No, that's like, I thought it was called the right way. It's not a goal. It's goalie interference. It's also not a penalty. I thought it was the right call.
Classic Sean, always sucking up to the refs.
Clearly, yeah.
Sean, you missed it last night.
That's what I got yelled at for.
Sam was getting absolutely lambasted for sticking up for the officials last night. We go to the third period, and DeSmith had a great save on Alex Killorn right away. Then Paling dangled around DeSmith and a couple defenders. Capobianco cleared it out of the crease. I don't know if it was going in or not, but he was in a really good spot there. And then we had a bunch of chances for a while, nothing of super high danger until Beckett Sennecke made it 2-0. What do you guys think of this goal?
Wonky?
Well, I think we should let Sam take it.
No.
Come on, Sam.
All right, go ahead, Ryan. Just click through here. I want to just go to the end. This play is, I look at Ilya Lyubushkin, and this goes with just the perfect mushy middle of Lyubushkin. He's just indecisive here. It's not a good play from Capobianco either to get overwhelmed. I think that both defenders get beat twice on this play. Capobianco and Lyubushkin don't have positioning when the puck first gets shot. They're actually getting boxed out. And then when it goes behind the net, Capo overcommits, kind of gets beat. It's a weird play, right? It's not like it's a clear, he gets danced from behind the net. It's a weird little bounce. But Capo overcommits a little bit, gets beat, and then Lyubushkin's it's just one of those plays that Lyubushkin, for me, is not making. And it's not even like it's the wrong read or it's this big play. It's that he sees it. He actually sees it, goes over, and just completely whiffs on the poke check. Totally whiffs, swings and miss. I don't understand that, to me, because it's not just one time. It's 3 or 4 times that I'm seeing it from him. We're seeing it from Harley too. I just don't know why the little part of that play isn't happening, right? It's one thing to read the play wrong or get beat, but the little end of the play that they're just whiffing on a shot or whiffing on a poke check, that's what really concerns me. This is just one where I think there's 2 or 3 mistakes by both defensemen.
No, nobody touched him. And
yeah.
I start with the flyby from Hintz behind the net. He just flies by. Then I actually think that Coco here tries to do, now keep it right here. So Coco tries to do something. I think right here, I'm going to defend Lyubushkin right at this point because I think he's standing in this spot because he's not sure and he can't see the puck. Can the duck on the right side of the pond?
That's Killorn.
Killorn. Can he come out that same side? His partner's going to take care of the other side of the net for this split second. Okay. And so and Coco doesn't come here with intent. But when the problem that I have is these guys, this one pisses me off.
That one.
These guys are behind the goal line. That's when you can leave the front of the net and stop them from getting out there because especially when your goaltender has got the short side taken care of. So he's not going to be able to wrap it on him. And then so Coco does a flyby and now he's got the phantom cross check going on. But then now it's Lyubushkin and who's this? Robo coming back? I think Robo. Yeah. Nobody touches him. And what Lyubushkin does, this is called playing at the end of your stick. He can still get over here. He can go straight at him and get to him before he gets above that goal line. He doesn't. That's what allows him to get out here. And again, I wouldn't have both hands on my stick because it kind of shortens your length on it. You can, oh Jesus, that's going to be a clip at some point. But If he one hand, oh Lord, let somebody else take it.
Yeah, well, Luds, here's the thing, Ryan.
No matter where I go with this one,
Ryan, go back like 2 or 3 of those where they're pucks behind the net. Look at the 2 sticks of Lyubushkin and Capo, Luds. I know you hate this. Why are the sticks up in the air? I know Capo's
already out. He's missed. He's overshot the play.
Yeah. So even if you go one back before he misses it, both their sticks are still straight up in the air.
Yeah.
And to not make contact or have your stick down to deflect a puck, I just don't understand the concept. It's like they're panicking in these situations. As soon as the puck gets around their net, there seems to be panic.
Route from Coco, like the guy's pinned up against the net. I'm not sure why you're on the outside of him. The one spot you don't want him to do is squeeze through you and the net. If anything, make him go around you. You know, like go to Coco's right and then a little higher. And what you just did is you probably would have bought time for Robo to get back there and help. But anyway, you're right, Sam. I mean, Lyubushkin's got a stick up in the air. Why isn't it on the ice? And when you go across the other side of the net, you should have one hand on your stick because you got a longer reach. You can get to that puck before it gets above the goal line just by leading with your stick.
All right, guys, we've got a break here. We have a live read from Luds and Sam. I didn't give Sean that one tonight, I don't believe, because I did it yesterday before we knew Sean was going to be on the show.
We can double team it, Sean.
Yeah, go for it. And then we'll talk about the Hintz goal, and we have at least 10 super chats.
Oh boy.
So let's get going here. Stars After Dark here on DLLS.
Ryan, I neglected. We should have started with the hoodie, our new hoodie. We already had that one right here holster, didn't you? Your finger was on the trigger. Yeah, there's our beauty right now, and I hear they're selling fast, so y'all better get on it because they'll be gone. And then let's pull up Jamie. All right, let's show the captain one. Yeah, just we won't see that shot anymore. I think I'm going to hang mine up on the wall. Yeah.
Frame that one from last
on
night.
The wall right there. And then, you know what? We probably ought to talk about the hats again since Sam has got – Sam, you're not sporting it right now. I don't think you are. Anyway, there's the caddy hat on the left and then the white DLLS one on the right and the 2 in the middle. Okay.
Thanks, Luds. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about these hats.
There you go.
He's got multiple hats. Hats on hats on hats.
If you want 20% off, this is a Sean Shapiro special right here. If you want 20% off on these hats or that hoodie, become a diehard. You get 20% off all merch. You get 20% off events. I believe there is an event coming up and multiple down the line. It's right below Sean, I think, on the screen. If you want to just point to that baby, scan that QR code or go to alldls.com/diehard. You get 20% off of everything you want. You get the access first because you're in the Discord. You get all kinds of cool stuff. You get articles from everybody on the DLS team. All behind the paywall articles are available to you, and you get it with no ads. So it's very seamless. Lots of cool stuff, guys. Go become a diehard if you haven't already. We're in year one. We're 1.5 almost.
Yep.
Right.
Almost,
so we're in year 2,
yep.
Almost to past 1.5. It's time to become a diehard. Quit messing around. Scan the QR code right now.
All right, thank you guys. Let's get to the Roope Hintz scramble because the most dangerous, other than that late second period power play where Robo and Wyatt really looked dangerous, 6-on-5. They found a little something. They got the goal. Roope Hintz scores. We're going to break it down. And then they had to have made a few Ducks fans a little nervous because I'm sitting there going, just get it to overtime. You don't know what's going to happen. But this goal from Hintz, this is a nice play, and this was a little bit of that Matt Duchene magic that he showed late in the game that we didn't see earlier in the game.
All I'm going to say about this, there's the urgency that the Stars needed coming out of the first period. Because there was urgency here to score. Like I said, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is that this is the play that we were talking about, that Luz, when you were talking about the power play, this is how they beat pressure early on, right? If any team tried to pressure them, they went tic-tac-toe, usually for the triangle. It was usually Rantanen and Johnston. This is what passing can do on pressure. You got a Ducks player way out on the wall there. They're able to move it quickly and create a 2, maybe even 3-on-1 down low. It's a great play all around, but I think the key there is the quick puck movement. That's what we didn't see on the power play, and we haven't seen for quite a while. So I once we saw it, I thought they might get another one, to be honest.
And that give and go kind of play, it's so hard for a defender to stay with the player, even for that split second, because while you're covering the guy, if you make a pass down low and then break to the net, the defender for just a split second has to read to see what's happening. And in that, if they don't immediately break with the forward that's making the move to the net, they're already behind and chasing. And that's why pass and move is so effective.
Well, maybe they should play. Maybe Glenn should shock his team and like go 6-on-5 on a random offensive zone face-off, like 2 minutes into the next time.
Patrick Waugh style.
Yes, just something like that, because it's a good goal. It's good urgency with 6-on-5. It's kind of the whole like too little, too late type deal of like, if you're going to sit and puck watch all game, if you're just going to kind of be as passive as they were all game, it's almost more frustrating when you see them score like that at the end. You're like, oh, you could have done something different. Like, and it's that. So,
and think about how demoralizing it would have been if they had found a way to score a second 6-on-5 goal, force overtime, and somehow get out of that game with a win, and the Ducks go winless in 10, and they would have been like, what do we have to do? We completely ran that game.
Yeah.
But
almost a steal to Ritzkovian.
Yeah.
2-on-1 goal to tie it too. That would have been excellent.
Amazing. All right, let's get to the super chat.
If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle too.
Luds, you always have a way with words. I appreciate it as always. Let's go to super chats tonight. We begin with Meaty Hammer, I believe. Is that the first one? Yeah, it is. Meaty Hammer, Heiskanen and 99 Cup year. That was a desperate Ducks team, and they played like it. Stings felt like a game the Stars might steal for a while. Got better later in the game. Next. On to the next one.
Yep.
All right. Finger Blaster 911 with a, let's see, 21 for Joseph Harry and Guy Carbonneau, not Jason Robertson. How about that?
Go Finger Blaster.
Either Gully has run out of answers as of late, or these guys aren't listening. Pond hockey, low-key cardio. I don't think it's either one of those things.
No.
What is
guys? Stop listening. They're tired.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're tired.
Yep. It'd be one thing if they were out of the playoffs and looking mediocre, but they've played pretty good hockey with a good coach, and they've been good for a while. So we're right in those dog days. I'm not explaining them away. Still got to find a way to bank points, but it happens. All right. Blue Titan. Today would have been a good day to show the extra 1%.
maybe some more than that.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I'm telling you, sometimes those back-to-backs, even though it's not a hard back-to-back. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they had to travel 20 minutes.
The last time they played the Ducks and beat them 8-3, they were in San Jose the night before. Now, I know playing San Jose and playing LA are two different teams and different styles, but I mean, come on.
No, this is like, we'll just call it what it is. This is one of the easiest back-to-backs in the NHL. It's just the reality is, it's that you're sleeping in the same hotel both nights. Typically on this trip, for the Kings Ducks one, you're sleeping in the same hotel both nights. You've got they were probably in the JW right near Crypto or Staples or whatever it is for their meetings.
Oh, Staples, I like it.
Yeah, well, you know all the bartenders' names. You know all their first names. You were there
of course.
The game. You were there after last night's game. And
they're
all buddies.
Yeah, so this isn't easy. This isn't back-to-backs aren't easy, but this is as easy schedule and travel-wise as they get, other than playing both at home. So,
all right, the next one comes from Stars 26 Cup year with a Heiskanen 99. Dump and chase is a hockey strategy where the puck is sent into the offensive zone and chased to gain possession. Never met her, no control, no vision. What? Okay.
Real quick on something.
I didn't get that one.
I don't understand the question, but I do want to say real quick on something. Dump and chase hockey is not all the time. It gets roped into this like dump and chase hockey is bad. Dump and chase hockey is black, and it just gets roped into this black and white comparison of, oh, you play dump and chase hockey, it's bad. You need dump and chase hockey to open up possession hockey.
Yes.
If you try to enter with possession every single time, Luds, if I tell you every single time they're never going to dump and chase, you're just going to smack guys.
There'll be a wall across
exactly.
the center line and the blue line.
Exactly.
And
so
think about how frustrated fans would be.
Yeah.
Instead of dumping the puck past that wall to go get it, if the entry was turned over at the blue line or 2 feet inside every single time, they'd lose their mind and go, why don't we dump it in once in a while?
The thing is like if you're going to dump it with a purpose.
Exactly.
Put it in an area. I'm a big fan of, because it was what I hated the most is when you're getting to that defenseman, instead of firing it around or cross ice, put it right behind that defenseman. I don't want to turn and have to go to that puck and get hammered, right? I mean, it's a hard play, and so, but then that's when you just a soft chip behind him, and you got support that come to get it, and you retrieve it.
Yeah.
Nestra 96 with a DeSmith and 99 cup year. How would y'all fix it? I'm guessing the overarching theme of the team, not just dump and chase hockey strategy.
Nazem Kadri. I don't know how many times I don't know how many times I need to. I've been on this show so many times in the past.
Are you gonna play him on the wing?
I don't care whether he plays wing, center. I don't care. This team right now lacks
Kiefer Sherwood.
I'm good with that either. I'm fine with Kiefer Sherwood too.
He's a rental. B, he's cheaper. C, he's a winger. And D, you don't have to deal with Kadri's contract for 3 more years.
Okay, that's fine too. Either way, right now, show me the identity of a team that's serious about going to win this whole thing.
The other thing is, I think we all want Rasmus Anderson. I don't know how you get him and Kadri or Blake Coleman all from the Calgary Flames.
Again, all of this is fine, and it does. We can talk about the pros and cons of various pieces. This is a group right now where I look at a space where the battle, where it's going, where the central is. And I've said this before on this show, and I'll say it again. As a GM, it's not even you owe it to the players, because I think you do owe it to the players to go and be a little bit more proactive than they're being. You owe it to yourself. You've built this team that can lose, has lost 8 of their last 10 or whatever it is still second or third best in the league when it comes to point totals. You've built all of this. So why don't you continue to build on top of it? So once again, this to me, this is the whole impetus of whether it's not.
And here we go back to the waiting for Tyler Seguin move.
Yeah, let's just call that what it is. That's just it's ridiculous. Just put him, just end the season for him. Just do it and just make the frickin' move already. Like to me, this just goes down to, and I keep going back to this. Right? It's not do you owe it to the players? If you're Jim Nill, you owe it to yourself. You built a team good enough to win a Stanley Cup. And it's like, oh, well, I'm here and I've got this car. I got this car that's good to win the race. But you know what? I could add the NOS from whatever. But I don't know how cars actually work. But you could go add
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, you could
just
hit
add that. It'll go faster.
You can add that to go a little bit faster, and it's sitting right there, and you decided not to add it. So just do it. So,
you're right. This team, they need a shot in the arm. And to be honest with you, I don't know what it is other than adding a player, because you're not going to get it from screaming at the team. You're not going to get anyone back other than maybe Bischel right after the Olympic break. I don't think that really does it. Tyler Seguin's not coming back, if at all, for a long time. They need something to do it. And I don't know the answer other than adding a player to show them, we believe in you guys. We're not going to let you just run this thing into the ground. We believe that you're not this team. Let's add a player and give you some boost here before the break.
And to further Sean's point, there are 10 games on the schedule for the Stars before the Olympic break, right? It's Utah, and then they're back home. They play 3 of 4 at home. They actually go see Bones in Columbus, and then they have a 3-game road trip and 2 at home, and then they're at the break. There's only 5 games and 2 weeks of the schedule to the NHL trade deadline when they get back. So it's not like they have 3 or 4 weeks to figure it out. They play on deadline day at home against the Colorado Avalanche.
Let's
Fun day for us.
And
Yeah.
let's put.
And by the way, we're going to have to do a trade deadline show and a pre and post game that
There
night.
is a freeze before the Olympics too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that actually goes right where I was to bring this up. You're talking about building your team, and you're saying, "Oh, okay, what are we going to do?" If I am Jim Nill, and obviously I'm not saying you don't make moves after the Olympics, but you want your coach in the lab to figure out everything works, right? Like if you're going to, there's a roster freeze during the Olympics. You're not gonna be able to do anything during all of that and everything. If you can get a move done before the Olympic break, and all of a sudden, I know you can't practice during all of that, but you know what? Maybe you're at least as a team, you're figuring out how, whether it's Kiefer Sherwood, whether it's a Blake Coleman, whether it's a Rasmus Anderson, whether you're figuring it out and you actually have actionable intel that you're working on. And then if you add someone else, it's an additional move. It's to me, it's just this whole like, it's all like, oh, we're going to wait to see who gets hurt and who's going to be healthy and everything like that. Well, everyone else is going to figure it out then too. And the prices are going to go up and you're going to be priced out. And then we're going to be like, well, I'm sorry, we couldn't do anything because we waited. And just, you have the asset, your assets aren't changing. So go shop now while your assets have more value before other teams decide to wise up and be like, oh, you know what? We're still in the race. So,
yeah. And they've needed a winger and a defenseman since the summer. Right.
We still have some more super chats, but Ryan pulled up a couple of tweets. Robert Tiffin talked to Glenn Gulletson after the game. Gulletson confirms Heiskanen should only be away from the team for short term. That's good. And then the second one is from Gulletson, quote, obviously it's the first time we played without Miro this year, and you could feel it. You could feel that he wasn't in the lineup, certainly, but that wasn't the issue. I thought we could have done some things a bit better, especially early. Hard to argue with any of that, but that's good news that it's expected to be short term for Miro. As him missing tonight was the first of the season. He'd played all 46 games. There's only 5 players that have played all 47 games for the Dallas Stars now. And those players, as I go through my list real quick, Maverick Bourque, Wyatt Johnson, Esa Lindell, Jason Robertson, and Sam Steele. Remember, Mikko missed a game because he was suspended. All right. Let's go to the next super chat, which I believe is from Blue Titan 10 with a DeSmith 99 Cup year. This game needed some Bastion, 0 answer for Radko Gudas, and that goes with Grundle Gobbler, a Hatcher and year after the Cup. Tonight was the first time I saw Moose get bullied. You don't see Mikko Rantanen get drilled that much. He's a big human being. Gudas got him a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Bastion's your answer for Radko Gudas either, but I understand where you're coming from. They don't have that, and they definitely aren't getting it from their broken-nosed captain either. So that is one where they do miss Bischel, even though he's not a big fighter either. Just a big body to have there to help out once in a while when you do have a Gudas type player that's setting the tone. That's basically what he was doing.
And, you know, Luds, I know you're frustrated with Leon Bischel at times because you want to see him play a little meaner even after the whistle, but he does throw a lot of hits during play, and it does seem to catch the attention of the opposition, even if it's not as effective this year as you'd like it to be.
No, I'm not frustrated with him at all. I think he's the most physical guy by 2 or 3 for this
right.
team. I mean, easily that. It's just that when some things happen in front of the net, you know, I don't want to see him get a reputation. You know, and again, I'm not telling him to jump in and fight because the fighting isn't what it used to be anyways. But I just don't want to hear or have him go down the road 2 years from now and there's these cat calls coming from the benches, you know.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff.
Let's go to the next one. Stars 26 Cup year with a DeSmith 99 year. Send this team 2 to 3 years Dagestan and forget. I know you're frustrated with a game like tonight, but shipping this one off to a labor camp is probably not the recipe for a solution. Let's go to Blue Titan 10, a DeSmith 99 Cup year. How long till we trade for Gudas? Need his play style. Well, as
I
Sean
brought that
said,
up about 3 years ago with him.
Yeah.
He also wanted Trouba a lot last year before he ended up going there instead.
Yep.
I still think that the Ducks fancy themselves a playoff team in the West, or at least potentially and they kind of need it too. And last one, Grundle Gobbler with a Hatcher year after the Cup. Sean, does Jake save the second goal because of size?
I don't know about its size. I don't know if pure size, but if you look at kind of how that play, and we were breaking it down on video earlier, Jake is a little bit more, I want to say, with Jake's post play, he's probably a little bit in a better position just to simply cover that puck. Like I know we ripped into all of the defensive I was about to say a word that I probably shouldn't say on the air without making
text it to me, I'll say it.
It's 1 a.m. Say whatever the hell you want.
But it's
It's
with all the snafus defensively, but at the end, it's also something too, just from a goaltending perspective. And once again, I'm not going to rip Casey DeSmith for this loss at all, based off where this game is. But there's also, it's one of those moments for me of you're an athlete. It's make a play like an athlete, and that's one of those where that was one of my bigger goalie takeaways from Casey. But yeah, I think from a Jake perspective, it's not the size, it's the post play where I think Jake's in a better spot to seal that, and it becomes a non-issue, and he bails out, and there's a bailout for the defenseman there. So
we have another super chat. Stars 26 Cup year with a DeSmith and a 99 Cup year. If you can't beat them, buy them. Gudis to the Stars.
If here's the thing from a Gudis perspective, because you look at that Ducks team, and this is something that I think Luds would be really good to talk about here. He's their captain. He's their identity. And I talked earlier about this is a team where if they lose this game, lose 10 in a row, and come home, you're like, all right, you're telling your GM you're done. It's easy to go into video game world and be like, oh, we're going to trade guys and do this and everything like that. I have a feeling he's going to be really hard to pry. Even if Anaheim was to keep losing in stroke, he's going to be really hard to pry out, because what Pat is trying to build long-term there, I don't think he wants 6 weeks of useless hockey without the Radko Gudas.
I don't either.
Some of his young guys. So I think obviously there's a price for everything, but there is from a Ducks perspective, even if they fall and they miss the playoffs and they this, do that, and the other, there's immense value, I think, for that long-term organization-wise for that to have that guy around that group. So he's going to be pricier than he should be because of that.
Yeah, you talk about Beaker, and you bring in Gudis, and you hang a sign around his neck, and it says identity, right? Yeah. You bring in Trouba, you hang around his neck, it's identity. Yeah. Darian Hatcher, identity. That's what they're trying to build. They're trying to say, this is who we are. Yes, we're going to have the skill guys, because everybody's going to have those guys, but there's going to be a lot of pushback on our club.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Not only have we said enough, but we have a show in about
12 hours.
I want to say about 13 hours. We're on the air. So yes, get your beauty rest. 2:00. We're in the lounge. All four of us will be on the show. Sean will be the only one not in person, but that we're used to that by now. And what you should do, Sean, is hop on a red eye to Vegas and just rub it in our face. But that's a different conversation for a different time.
Are you going to Vegas?
Vegas.
I mean, define your are we and going.
I believe they call Columbus the Vegas of the Midwest. I think I'll be there next Thursday. So
I'm going to be in person for the next Rick Bonus Dallas Stars reunion.
Yes, I was not. I think it'll be his 71st birthday that day too.
Come on.
I think it will be, or it might be a day before.
Didn't he just turn 71?
I think his birthday's like January 25th or something like that.
Oh,
so,
you know, the funny thing was I was hoping to try to get him on our show during the Olympic break when there was some time. I guess I could still ask, but now that he's a head coach again, I don't know.
Probably a little busy.
I was going to say he may or may not, but great guy. I'll tell you what, guys, we got a show tomorrow. Stars are in Utah on Thursday. Lots still to go.
January 25th, John.
I was right.
There you go.
There we go.
And the 25th is a it's a Sunday, so it's not the day the Stars play the Blue 3 days before. Wish him an early birthday. All right. For Sean Shapiro, Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, and our producer Ryan Vaughters, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks so much for sticking up late with us tonight. We really love. We had 11 super chats at 1 a.m. You guys are the best. Woo. We'll see you tomorrow, 2:00 for our regular day show. Until then, good night.
He needs some milk.